Hi everyone, please write me in the chat if you can see something. Hello Julie, hello Fran, hello Claire, hello everyone. You see, we're going to talk about the refugees, but also you can see a lot of people here, and they are all not refugees actually. We're going to taste some local life. Are you excited to taste some local life here with me? I wanted to make this tour kind of about me and also a little bit cheerful and personal, and it will be about summer and about amazing views. Hello everyone, we are in the Archery Island, and today we're going to talk about my life, but also I wanted to to show you an amazing place. It's a wine festival. You see, the people are drinking wine. Are you excited about the wine festivals? You know, probably you think that people like to drink beer in Prague, but actually sometimes people also are great fans of wine as well. It's absolutely beautiful and picturesque, and I've never been here with you before, so I decided to show you some beauties myself and also something beautiful. I like to go outside. At first I wanted to show you some kind of my home and me, but then I decided to take you outside. It's so beautiful. Yes, you're right, Fran. It's beautiful and it's very, like, it's full of wine. It's not the best place for the refugees because, like, we think that we can't indulge ourselves and really have fun. And this is kind of great guilty feeling usually in every refugees, but probably we will have a look at the wine festival, and then I will show you, I will talk to you, and I will tell you what I wanted to tell you about my life, and you will be able to ask me questions. So I will flip my camera. Hello everyone. We will begin in 2 minutes. Probably more people will join, and you can prepare your questions. I wanted to have a talk with you to answer all your questions. Oh no, it's really noisy here. And I found a beautiful place. It's a wine festival, and it's on the island. It reminds me about Paris, so it looks like the island, Cité Island in Paris. And I found a very quiet place at the edge of this island. And I decided to begin with some unusual place. Please enjoy 2 minutes before we start. You see, the sad music is just to set our feelings, to be prepared to talk about the life of refugees. No, it's not a piano. I don't know the name of this instrument. It looks like the xylophone, but kind of ancient kind of xylophone. we have the same replicas in schools in Ukraine, but they are much kind of not so big in the dimensions. A little bit of piece of France. So guys, now I'm going to greet all of you. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure that you all know me. My name is Olga and I'm a refugee in Czech Republic, in Prague, but currently I'm from Kyiv originally, and here I am for 1 year. The reason why I decided to meet with you today is just to tell you about my life and to answer to all your questions that you don't have the time to answer me during our tours, and I usually try to pack everything. And if I have, for example, the tour in Prague Castle or in Charles Bridge or somewhere else, I try to focus on history and tell you about the place that you are interested to see and to tell you about this kind of place. Today I decided to talk about myself, and if you don't mind, I will quickly walk with you through this island. I will show you beautiful wine festival, and then I found there the beautiful place where there will be no one, and I will tell you about the feelings that I have developed during this year. Please let me know if you don't object against seeing a little bit of wine and how people entertain themselves here in Prague. So you know that Czech Republic is a landlocked country, which means that they don't have the sea. In Prague they have beautiful Vltava river that divides actually the city into two parts, into two banks, and they have also this kind of island where they have different kind of events. So the way how people live here, they try to organize all the events in the city to enjoy the summer at the fullest. And it's very hot today. I think during the day it was about 37 degrees Celsius. It's insanely hot. I grew up in the south of Ukraine, in Zaporizhia city, which is endangered now because of that. Because of the fact that Russians are occupying the nuclear power plant, and I'm very well accustomed to the heat. So it's okay for me to be here even at the 37 degrees. It's higher than 90 degrees, probably this is Fahrenheit. So let's go, and I'm going to walk with you along the wine festival, and we will finish at the worms. Please let me know, have you ever tried dry worms? Today was the first time when I saw dry worms, and this is the line, the queue of the people who want to buy them. I will show you the dry worms, and that was a revelation for me. I didn't know that it's possible to eat worms. They have kind of a degustation. You could try the free sample. I will show you how I am eating the worms. And they are kind of hollow inside. So there is no body of the worm, just the crispy shells. So it's the place where the authentic Czech producers are coming. They're bringing their wines. You have to buy a glass. It costs 150 crowns. That is about, I think, 5 euros. And then you need to buy the wine. So at first you buy the glass, and then you buy the wine to taste it. So that is 30 crowns. That is for, it's about a little bit more than €1. And that is, I like rosé here. I tasted today, and that is the beautiful winery. Oh, so people are happy here. This is the end of the day, of course. They tasted so many kinds of wines. different. Here there is no much to eat, just shashlik, and a lot of people sitting just here in the middle of the island with these wooden tables. Shashlik is very popular in Ukraine, and please let me know, do you like it? So it's kind of grilled meat on that spires. The price is 200 crowns, and that is about 20 euros probably, something like that. So do you want me to taste the wine for you? It's just the question to warm up, because I'm not going to taste the wine before the tour. Like, if you enjoy our today's conversation and you will leave me a small tip, maybe after the tour I will be able to taste the wine. Oh, you like shashlik, friend? Okay. So this is how people are spending summer in Prague. The worms, they took away the worms just now. They took away the most precious thing here, the worms. Okay, so I will walk just along this beautiful island and have a seat to talk with you. That is the opera house, and that is the golden hour, the time when all the photographers are coming to make the pictures here. So the worms, I have the pictures, and if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I will probably show you there in the stories how I am eating the worms. This is my second summer in Prague. I hope that this is the last summer. I hope for our victory and for the fact that I will be able to come home. And it's one of the peculiarities of the refugees. So we all hope that we will go home. And when I was living as millions of other refugees, when I was leaving Ukraine, I was living just for 1 week. You remember me wearing different kind of shoes. These were kind of winter boots. So we just left in abruptly. In what we was wearing, we left in the clothing. We took the documents, the money that we had in home, and then everything started. Like now, many Ukrainians can tell to you that we have so kind of emotional swings. Sometimes we think that it's all it's like the war will never be over, and it's not possible to stop the war. It's not possible to come back home, and sometimes we feel elevated and we think that we will go home next month. So officially I will stay here. Probably it's beautiful. No, like this. It's beautiful scenery behind me. Officially, if we are talking about the refugees, there are 8 million refugees in Europe now. Some people are registered. So if we are talking about the registered numbers, 5 point something million people are registered as refugees. The others, Ukrainians, have the right to live in the different European countries for 3 months, and we don't have to to become a refugee because we can live without visas. Officially about 8 million people are staying outside of Ukraine. Also, there are internal refugees, internally displaced people, and about the same number of people moved from the territories which are occupied, or there is the current kind of situation which doesn't allow them to stay, to live, because it's difficult to live under the constant shelling. 8 million abroad, 8 million inside Ukraine, displaced, so-called internally displaced people. It's we never, like when I was thinking about the word refugee, for example, what do you think about this term refugee? I picture it for myself, a lady with an underfed child, probably the lady with a kind of dark skin, like the lady from Afghanistan or Syria, and they are usually very poor. This was my perception of the refugee. And Ukrainian refugees looked a little bit different. When the news was showing a lot of Ukrainian refugees who were taking their seats in the buses and the trains, they saw the ordinary middle-class people who were wearing beautiful clothing, who were clean, and Ukrainians are considered kind of as a different type of refugees because we are better educated. We kind of built our own democratic country in Europe, and I think that the world consider Ukrainians as a little bit kind of civilized, I could say, more civilized refugees. So it makes a lot of it makes probably the life challenging for us, because when we came to different countries, it's difficult for us to work. For example, if the lady used to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, it's difficult to start working as the cleaner, to wash the dishes. We try to find the new professions, to occupy the new skills, because it's this is the reality. Many Ukrainian women, they just don't want to go and to work with I don't know, physically on them. Physical labor. We try to find some kind of options. Let me show you the beautiful scenery, because it is something, it's really something really unique, and I will continue talking about the refugees. So our decision to leave Ukraine for everyone was very abrupt, just in one day. And when I came to the border of Ukraine, and when we were traveling here, and especially when we came to Prague, I saw people and I heard different stories. Some stories were really surreal for me, because people were telling how they escaped from the real death, how they were escaping from the cities, and they had to see awful images and saw these atrocities. So we all have our own different traumas. The traumas are different, like we have different kind of traumas, but still, even if people haven't seen a lot of dead bodies on the streets when they were leaving their city, it's quite challenging to find yourself in the new country, in the new circumstances, absolutely kind of not knowing where are you going to go next and what is going to happen tomorrow. For me, as for the rest of the refugees, the most challenging thing is this uncertainty. I really don't know what is going to happen with me next month, and we are living in this short-term planning. When for example, my son had the problems with the school, and we had to go to the psychologist. So there I met the women and the children, the kids who really had awful experiences, and they had problems with the sleeping, with this going to the toilet, because if the child especially saw the death, when people were leaving such kind of occupied cities by Russians, like Borodyanka, Irpin, Bucha, they had to pass the streets where the dead bodies were lying, and the small kids usually will remember that for a long period of time. And our psychologists, not our, but local psychologists, Ukrainian psychologists here in Prague, they were working with such kind of traumas. I think that we have changed, the whole nation have changed we we became much stronger and united. We can use that in future. Of course, this experience, if the war would stop right now, this experience might be for good for us. We can use this super strength that we acquired in future plans, and when we come back home to Ukraine, we can really build the very strong and beautiful country with amazing people who have this unique experience of surviving and becoming stronger. I don't know when the war will end. Nobody knows. Personally, I think that it will last for a year or probably for 2 years. Currently, it's a very difficult period because the counteroffensive is undergoing, and we don't see now the results as we wanted probably them to see. So, and we also understand that we lost so many people now, right now. When sometimes it is, I think, it's easier to live in Kiev, it's easier to live in Ukraine than to live somewhere abroad. Because when I'm here, I'm constantly checking the news. Sometimes I don't sleep up to 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. because I want to know if this air raid alert is off or not. Where are what objects Russians hit this night? Every single night, Russians are bombarding Ukraine, and I live in Kiev currently. They are using drones because they bought thousands new drones from Iran, and it means that they are sending them to Kyiv. I live on the 23rd floor, and the upper floors of the high-rise buildings, they suffer the most. So these drones, they hit in most of the cases uprising like this high floors of the buildings, and I always wait up to the end of this siren and I check the Telegram channels. Is my house standing? If my house is, if my roof is okay. So it's difficult to stay here because at home I know that yes, there is the siren. I have to go to the bomb shelter, and I'm in the epicenter of what is happening, and I know what is happening. A lot of refugees are now going back home. So why Ukrainians are going back home? The first thing I need to tell you that it's a very courageous decision, because when for example, when the person decides to go home, he or she, probably she, because there are a lot of women and kids, because the men are fighting, and the men who are of this kind of fighting age, they are staying in Ukraine. So it's a brave decision to go back to Ukraine, because once you are back in Ukraine, you understand that you need to adjust your life, the life of your kids, to this constant danger. You know that this air raids alert will happen. They will be constant. They will not fade away, and it's a reality that your house can be hit every single moment. So when people are making the decision to go back, they are making another very courageous decision. And what is the reason for that? First of all, it's difficult to find accommodation and to pay for that. Now less and less countries are kind of paying the money or refund the accommodation, and that is why Ukrainians just don't have the funds and the sources to pay for the accommodation, for food and for living. If the person is alone, for example, if a lady just have herself, it's okay to find an apartment, to find the job, and just to live in Europe, to pay for yourself. My situation is different. I have 3 kids. I have to pay for apartment, for the food we eat, and for everything the rest. Up to July, Czech Republic was covering partly the costs for the accommodation, and starting from the 1st of July, the system changes here, and this will be the reason, probably I will go back to Ukraine. We will see how much money I will be able to get from the government this month if there will be nothing, because they are going to cut on everything. So there will be no help for Ukrainians. We will be living as Czechs. We will have to pay for everything. But it's very difficult when you are living on your land, when you know the language, when you can plant the tomatoes in your garden, you can find resources on your land. It's another song, like it's another story. When you are in completely different country with 3 kids, it's really hard to survive. And I'm so grateful to all of you who are supporting me. And I'm really grateful to there is one person, she became my friend on Hago, and she helped me very much. I need to tell you that there is one person who really helped me a lot with the funds and this fact that I received this money, this help allowed me to stay here in Czech Republic for more. So it's very difficult for the women, because the husbands are in Ukraine. It's very difficult for the women to survive with 2 or with 3 kids, because we have to go to work, we have to pay for everything, and there are no grandparents to help us, and we have to rent the apartments. For example, in Ukraine, sometimes we own the apartments. We don't have to pay for the accommodation like 1,000, 2,000 euros. It's just okay to live and to earn money as you go for food. Life of Ukrainian refugees is not easy, and it's not. I think it's going to be kind of more difficult, because more and more countries are cut this help, and we will have to integrate, or we will have to go back to Ukraine. It's dangerous now to go back to Kiev, because currently a lot of people, they relocated to Carpathian Mountains, to the western Ukraine, and to Lviv, to the cities which are in the west. But for me, it's not the case. Kyiv is the place where there is the best air defense from US and from our allies is working, and also Kyiv is the place where Russians are sending all their best and the most expensive missiles every single night. So above the Kiev, in the Kiev sky, there is the battle, and it's happening every single day. The battle between the allies of Ukraine and the battle between Russia. I imagine you also have to. Yes, Jennifer, this is another issue. We really have to pay for our apartments that are left behind in Ukraine. It's not for free, and we have to pay here for our apartments. So financially, it's really hard to survive, and it's reason number 1 why people have to go back to Ukraine, even to these to very dangerous zones. Now, Julie, it's it will be impossible for many of us to be a refugee, and starting from July, I see that from my friends here in Czech Republic, hundreds of people will go back to Ukraine, because Czech Republic will not cover some part of the accommodation as they used before. I wanted to tell you a few words about other countries. For example, there are some peculiarities. In UK, for example, people were very open, and when I'm telling you the stories, just remember that in my heart I have a lot of gratitude to the world that opened the doors for Ukrainian refugees. But I would like to share with you the funny stories that my friends told to me. For example, one, I had the woman, and the woman was sitting with me in the bus. She went to UK, and she told that her host gave her 6 pages of the rules that she had to follow when she was living in the house in the UK. She had to to change the hosts because they didn't allow her to leave her room after 8 p.m. She had to tell them when she wanted to eat something, when she wanted to go to the shop, when she wanted to use the a shower, and there were 6 pages. I don't remember all of them, but there were 6 pages of different rules. And for us, it's also kind of other burden, and it's difficult to. Yes, we are living in like in the homes that were provided by kind people. The missiles are not falling on our heads, but it's challenging for Ukrainians to follow all these rules. The separate story is with kids. For example, I have 3 kids, and for me, number one, I cannot go to work because my neighbors are leaving a lot of complaints for my landlord, and even if I don't go permanent, like to the work full-time job, I don't have full-time job. It's challenging because, like, when you're a refugee, when you leave your kids alone at home, the neighbors may call the police or some kind of other services. The neighbors are complaining, landlords, that the children are screaming, shouting, listening to music or whatever. So we don't have, like, probably we have some other rules in Ukraine, but when we are coming to other countries, we need to follow these rules, and somehow we need to explain our kids that you have to do this and this and this and sit quiet, because your neighbor will come and our neighbor will come and tell the landlord, and next week we will go to Ukraine, and there you will have other kind of problems. It's not, Diana, it's not like about UK. There are some, there are different kind of stories, not just in UK, in some other countries. We all are different. Just imagine, guys, for example, your relatives, your friends are coming to your house to stay for a week or for 10 days or for a month. You know the date. Actually, you know the date when your relatives or friends will leave. It's not the case with the refugees. We don't know the date. When we are coming to live in your apartments, in your houses, we don't know the date when we are going to leave. And the reason number 2, like the issue number 2, for example, when your relatives or friends don't like something, they can say goodbye. We are like, it's enough. We have spent a good time, and we go home. In the case of Ukrainian refugees, we can't go home as simple as that. We can't say to the hosts, okay, that's enough, I will go home. Some people just don't have homes. Absolutely. I really know here in Prague that the people, I was standing with them to receive the money from the government. That is why I know them personally. The people who lost everything. So the houses are burnt. They are very happy that they survived somehow, and they were able to escape their house just like before the missile hit it, or they went to Prague, and for example the missile hit the house during the period when they are living here. So the refugees really can say goodbye to you and go back home. Like, we need to settle all the problems. We need to find the new place of accommodation, and just then we can leave. It's difficult. It's very difficult to find a short-term lease. Usually, you need to pay like for the first month, for the last month, the deposit in case you break something. In this apartment, and like if you scratch something. So this it's called kauce here. So you need to rent the apartment in Prague. You might need about $3,000 at once, and people don't have such money. We are not rich people, and we were not planning the holidays in Europe. When we left Ukraine, we were not planning 2-year holidays in Europe. We were just planning to stay here for a week. And that's just refugees from one country. There are a lot of refugees as well. Yes, Julie, Europe, as we say, is not a rubber string. It's not a rubber stripe. It's really difficult to find the accommodations for such a huge amount of people. So yes, the problem number one is really the home. Yes, Wendy, it's hard to have someone in your space, my son and my daughter, they will not be able. They entered the colleges, and the problem is that they don't have accommodation for the weekends. So the colleges provide the how to say the hostel for the students during the weekends, and we don't know how much money we will have to pay for the accommodation, like for this weekend. So it's still the question whether they will be studying or not, because if we cannot afford pay for the weekends, probably they will go back to Ukraine. And currently we hope that they will go, and somehow we will try to earn money, and we will pay for the books, for this college kind of hostel, and for food. Again, they are just turned 15, and the age of 15 is a very challenging age for the teenagers to live alone without anyone in their country. So if I'm sure that I won't be able to pay for 3 accommodations, for my accommodation in Prague and for 2 of my children. So we will have to make a choice, and probably we will have to go back to Ukraine. It will be hard on second guide to not leave his sister and brother. No, my children are not very, I need to tell you honestly, they don't get along very well, and it will be okay for them to live alone, especially for the twins. I think that the youngest one will be missing a little bit, like the sister. He's more close to sister, and they go for a walk sometimes. She supports him when he is turnovers, when he is crying. So what happened to my child? As now I understand, I was living under the constant pressure. We feel this. I will now explain you what, like the depression of refugee means, what this syndrome of refugee means. When the person is coming to another country, we feel strange feeling of abandonment. Like I felt that everyone abandoned me. I feel alone. I feel like nobody needs me. I can really tell you that you were like Hago was the only source of my mental health, because people feel a lot of feel depressed, and we feel guilt, constant guilt. For example, a person feels guilty when you are alive and the people who are like your neighbors are not alive, and you are lucky to escape the Russian bombs. Then a person feels guilty because other people are staying in Ukraine. They are constant under the attacks, missile attacks, and you are not. You are okay. You are living in the beautiful surrounding like this. So you feel guilty for this. And the people who wounded, the soldiers who wounded, they feel guilty that they are not dead because they saw the deaths of their brothers on the battlefield. And now I know that just the person who are dead, they don't feel this strange feeling of guilt, and this is called the syndrome of refugee. You constantly feel abandoned, you feel guilt, you feel sad, you feel like nobody needs you, and this constant pressure that you don't know what will happen tomorrow. like you don't it's one other interesting observation. For example, I live in the beautiful Prague, and I really can't enjoy the beauties of Prague or the beauties of Paris because I don't see this as the beauties of the city. I'm constantly, my minds are flying back to Ukraine, and like you're constantly thinking about what is happening there. You can't enjoy these beautiful places as you are coming and enjoy them as tourists. And you feel this in your heart. It is very strange. You are walking in the beautiful surrounding and you are not at awe. You don't say, wow, it's so wonderful, it's so picturesque. No, you just think, oh, it's okay, like I'm still alive. And you constantly want to go back. Mentally, you are waiting for this opportunity and for this surreal time when you are able to go back to Ukraine. It's really surreal because you don't know when it's happening, and in your mind, I am constantly creating the pictures when I am home. When I am home, I feel scared because when the bombs and the drones are flying close to your house, I feel that I really need to go back to Ukraine, to some safety. I will read your comments for a second. Yes, so when we are staying in the beautiful places, our minds are still preoccupied with the Ukrainian stuff, and it's the strange feelings. I always liked to travel. I always liked to enjoy the life, but when I hear Ukrainian music, I begin to cry. Now I am preparing the new project. It will be called The Price of Blue and Yellow Victory, where I will be telling about the people who lost their lives because of the war with Russia. And when you saw these atrocities, you really feel guilty that I'm here in safety, and all these people, they lost their brothers, sisters, parents, kids, dogs, and they will never get back. What will happen to Ukrainian nation? Sometimes we think that everybody will die, everyone will die, and Ukraine will lose. I am just showing you what I feel. There are moments when I feel that Ukraine will lose. I even made the interview in Vienna. Probably I will upload it one day on my YouTube channel. And I was asking people, what will you do if Ukraine loses and if all Ukrainian soldiers die on the battlefield? Because we don't have enough equipment, we don't have enough fighter jets, planes to conquer and to compete with Russia in the sky. And we don't have enough human resources. So what would happen if all the Ukrainian men are gone? I think that it's also one of the cases. Then something might happen, and Putin will move further. And in this case, currently Ukrainians are just stopping this aggression on our lands. But in this case, Moldova, Czech Republic, and Poland, they know that they might be the next. That is why they are welcoming Ukrainian refugees, and they really want Ukraine to pay this price, and they want us to stop this aggression on Ukrainian lands. The world understands it must not lose. If Ukraine loses, it means that the evil takes the upper hand. It means that the evil wins. So it's just one point of view, and then the swing goes to the other side, and I begin to think that no, we are winning. It's not possible for us, for our nation to lose. We will win even tomorrow, and I begin to pack all the suitcases and be prepared to go back to Kyiv in next month. So these kind of psychological and mental swings are happening in my mind. I could say I don't know, every week. And it's also a part of this refugee syndrome. Probably I will flip the camera and I'm going to show you the Charles Bridge at the dusk, and I will continue talking. Now you can drop me your questions if you have them, and I will answer them. Probably I will just find something in my mind to tell you more about the refugees and the stories that about the people that I met here. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for sending me your tips and the help on Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal. And you have supported me through this whole year, and I'm so grateful, so grateful to you. Millions of people, this 8 million of people, they really left Ukraine, and they don't have an idea whether we will be able to return ever or not. And the main problem that the refugees have, it's this life with uncertainty, and of course the beginning to start the life somewhere else. Are most of the people you meet there accepting and respectful to Ukrainian refugees? It's a very good question, Julie. Most of the people, yes. My answer about the Czech Republic, definitely yes, because they remember 1968. They, I couldn't say it like kind of hate Russians, but they really blame Soviet Union and Russians for this Prague Spring, for that reforms, and for these 40 years of the communism that was like the Communist Party was ruling here. So they know what they are doing. They know that this is the kind of they are repeating the story, and currently it's very difficult for the Russians to come to Czech Republic, to study, to live here, to obtain visas. I don't hear a lot of kind of Russian language here. On the streets I hear a lot of Ukrainian language, and most of the people are respectful and very helpful. I felt a little bit different when I came to Austria. There were a lot of Russians, and I really felt this difference. I think that some people in Czech Republic are a little bit tired of ours, and the Czech Republic is a small country, which means that they are like the Czech Republic covers the territory which is currently occupied by Russia in Ukraine. So it's kind of the fifth of the Ukrainian territory. So the country is not big, and that is why they want us to work. They want us to immerse and integrate into the society. And what has changed since the 1st of July? We will have to pay for everything, for our accommodation, for our insurance, there will be the donation, not donations, but the help from the government just for the people who, oh my gosh, these are mosquitoes, who are very vulnerable, like the pensioners, the mothers with the children who are under 6. They will have some help and support from the government. The rest of the Ukrainian refugees, they will have to pay for everything starting from the 1st of July. Is your home still intact in Ukraine? I know so many have lost their homes. I think you have mentioned bombings in the night near home. Yes, it's not, the situation is not very good. I need to tell you that actually currently my home is not, I could say, didn't suffer very much, because just the particles of the drone fell on the roof, and it's not damaged. Luckily, there was kind of a minor damage. It was very quickly restored, but the problem is that I am living on the 23rd floor. This is the last one, and actually this is the height where the drones hit the apartment buildings. So most of the ruinations that happened in my neighborhood happened on the floors 19, like from the 19th till the 25th floor. 2 days ago, just close to my house, the drone hit the apartment. It was like everywhere in our news, and the whole apartment burned. That was on the 24th floor, just like, I don't know, on the next street. So when I am at home, when I am in Ukraine, I feel that I have to go to the bomb shelter because living on such a height, it's very, very dangerous. And also the most dangerous thing is that the air forces are hitting the missiles and the drones, and everything is falling on the roofs, which means that the place where I live is really the most dangerous, because all the apartments that suffered from the ruinations and from some kind of damage, these are apartments situated on the upper floors, and I live, oh my gosh, and I live on the very, very rooftop. So it's when we were buying the apartment in Kyiv, we were thinking about the beautiful views, the beautiful scenery, and currently we understand that it's not the case. It's the most dangerous place. So these upper floors are the most dangerous places. Do you have other friends in Prague with you from Ukraine? If so, could you rent a place together? No, I can't. I have my close friend here. She lives close to Prague, not in this city. The city close to Prague, like 40 minutes by train, let's say 30 minutes, 40 minutes by train. And she also lost her apartment this month. She will not be able to pay for her accommodation, and she is moving to the room with 5 other ladies in her factory, in her plant where she is working. And it's not possible for me to now to rent the place together, because currently I have 3 kids. Starting from September, I will have to pay separately for my kids, because probably they entered the colleges, and they will be living in another cities. These are kind of villages where these colleges are, but I will have to pay for the kids. Thank you everyone for coming to me today. I'm so happy to have you all in my life. It's very sad that now I don't have so many kind of viewers as I used to have on Heygo. I hope that more people will join. I don't want to say goodbye to you. I will walk along the island and I will show you the beautiful sceneries of Prague, and probably I will say a few words to you again. Do you think schools would make an adjustment so parents wouldn't need to pay for the weekends? I wrote to them the letters, and currently I got the kind of blunt answers that they never do anything for for the students. Usually the students are just finding the place for themselves. I will talk to you. I will take you to this beautiful bridge, to the opera, to say my goodbyes, and I will talk to you while I'll be walking. So when I am here in Prague, I understand that we are different kind of refugees, really. We are like Ukrainian, and what I wanted to tell you, it's very important that Ukrainian refugees also did a lot of good for the other countries. So when we came to Spain, for example, or to Ireland, you know that there were many villagers and where there was no life, and Ukrainian ladies with the kids, they brought the new life into this I could say abandoned places. It is wonderful for the communities where they had kind of dilapidated houses where nobody lived, to give these houses to the Ukrainian refugees, because once again these are young women with young children, and it's a kind of a fresh blood to those communities. I was reading the article particularly about Spain and Ireland, and also about some German villagers. So in these cases, the communities where the Ukrainian refugees came, it was like the plus for them. Also, we could take for ourselves the jobs which didn't, like, for example, the Czechs didn't want to work on like cleaning, washing, cooking. In Germany, there are so many people like who are already working and integrated in the German society. So Ukrainian refugees, they are not just the burden. They are fresh blood to the, I could say, European population. Some people are saying that European population is aging, and when the Ukrainians with the young children are coming, is good for them, because these children might study and become new citizens of these countries. And I can't say that we are like the total burden. Many people work here, pay taxes, pay for the rent. Also, we buy food, and we bring money to these communities and to these countries. And our economy is ruined. Our economy is crushed in Ukraine. It's also difficult to find the job. In Ukraine as well. Has Ukrainian family in my uncle's house. My uncle died. Is empty. My cousins. It's great, Valerie, that you have such a kind of positive story connected with Ukrainians. We began with the wine festival. Thank you for sending me your tips and your support. Sometimes, sometimes I became very emotional after this war, and I'm really grateful when you are sending me your donations, because that helps me. That really helps me to survive. When I am telling you this, it's not something. It's really you really helps me to survive. Thank you. You can always support me on Buy Me a Coffee, on PayPal, and they are mentioned in the description to the store. Don't go away. I want to show you wine festival at night. The lights are on, and the people continue drinking and enjoying life here. By the way, another observation. Before I begin to show you the beautiful wine festival, when I'm walking here in Europe, I just want to stop everyone. It's again about my thoughts as a Ukrainian refugee. I want to stop everyone and say, what are you doing? Why are you drinking this wine? Why are you having fun here? I want to tell you about Ukraine. Do you know that at this very moment someone is dying? Today someone lost their arms or hands or legs or feet. Someone lost their husband or son. I want to scream to the European citizens that these atrocities are just happening in my country. It's very weird, but it's not because it's their fault. It's not the fault of the Europeans that Ukrainians are dying on the front. It's the fault of Russia and of those people who are coming to kill us. But it's also the thought that all the Ukrainian refugees have in their minds. We just want to tell to all the people where we are that don't have fun. Just think about Ukraine and think that when you're drinking this wine and when you're eating this lobster, or I don't know, this pork narco like in Czech Republic, when you are drinking this beer, you need to stop and think about Ukraine. I feel guilty when I go to the restaurant. I never go to the restaurant here. I feel guilty when I can buy something, even street food, for myself, because I want to send everything to the Ukrainian armed forces. It's real strange, but I feel that I have to send this money instead of my cafe, instead of this kind of fun and something that I have, something extra, I need to go and send to Ukrainian armed forces, because currently at this very moment they are dying for me, for my land, for the fact that Russians are not in Kyiv now. So just at the end of the tour, I'm walking in this food festival, and I caught myself on this thought. So I feel like I want to stop people and I want to tell them about Ukraine. And I'm doing this sometimes. You know, in France, I even had this conversation with one of the ladies. I was eating the croissant in one of the beautiful cafes. And I just began talking to her, like, you know, that when now we are sitting here in Paris eating croissant and having fun, and you know that here is like the major fight is happening. These are small details that I can add to my today's story. The fact that I always think that what is happening in Ukraine now, I want to tell about this to the all people around me, and I try to save money for ZSU, for the Ukrainian armed forces. Life goes on. Yes, we need to, and you know, they are dying, those Ukrainians who actually are in the armed forces. They really want us to continue living, because they die. You can even sleep here. You see, there is bed. They are dying for the fact that their children can come to Ukraine and they will have the place to live, the sovereign Ukraine. So I would say that the main fact is that being a refugee, you are constantly haunted by guilt. You are constantly haunted by the feeling of guilt. And sometimes I feel that I'm doing something very wrong. Like, it's wrong that I came here. I feel that it's wrong that I'm currently living here. Sometimes when I go back to Ukraine, I feel that it is wrong that I am back in Ukraine. So I don't know what I am doing right or wrong. I don't know what is the right decision for me in this moment of my life. I really don't know what is going to happen next, and that is why it's painful for me to see the carefree life of foreigners. It's painful sometimes to see this, but I know that the life should go on, and it's not possible for all the people sit down and cry over the war in Ukraine. But it is possible for all the world to do something, and it's possible to all the world to be united to stop this evil. It's not that like all the people should just stop living and enjoying the lives, but I think that the whole world might stop this evil in one day. If you went back to Ukraine, would you go to your parents or elsewhere? No, it's absolutely not to my parents. My parents live where the soldiers are fighting. They can literally see the front line. So my parents live in Zaporizhia city. This is where the nuclear power plant is, and Zaporizhia, this is the hot zone. This is where the fightings are happening. This is where the front is. I will not go to Zaporizhia. It's one of the most dangerous cities in Ukraine now. I will go back to Kyiv. I think we all understand how you feel here. Thank you, thank you. I keep smiling. It's like sometimes I cry. I always cry when I hear Ukrainian songs. But I try to, like, it's not possible to cry and to mourn the whole year. Even in Kyiv and in other cities, when you come, you will feel that Ukrainians continue to live. Psychologically, it's not possible to mourn and to cry 24/7. And the best remedy that I find for myself is to work and to keep my mind preoccupied with something, with doing something. So I try to create new videos, I try to create new tours. This is how I cure myself, just by doing this. Nothing else helps. Thank you, Fatima, for helping our animals. Yes, they die so others can live. That's right. That's right. Thank you, my dear. I want to tell you, now I'm going to take you up to the bridge to show you the amazing sunset on the Charles Bridge and to say you my goodbyes again. So today at night I'm going to upload a fire show. Yesterday at night I went to the fire show here in Prague, so please check my YouTube channel tomorrow. You can join me on Visegrad tomorrow. I will take you to this kind of church, Peter and Paul Cathedral, and I will and you can see the fire show on my YouTube channel tomorrow also. Thank you so much again for helping me, for supporting me, and just for coming to my tours. Don't abandon me, and we will win. Stand with Ukraine. So we are coming, it's not the Charles Bridge, it's the bridge close to the Opera Theatre, but here are the beautiful views to the Charles Bridge. And so for me, I think that the most difficult thing is the psychological pressure. Different small things, like when I restrict myself on the small things, when
just don't like touching the fucking...
I don't know when I will go back home, and I feel here powerless, you know. I don't have any influence on the situation on Ukraine, and I turn here as kind of a spectator. I just read the news, and that's all what I can do. And that is why you have this feeling of guilt and feeling of anxiety. I'm in the safety place, but the war goes on, and it's not possible just to look at this. Look at this beautiful evening. I think these are the most spectacular things that I can show to you. It's so beautiful. I wanted to cross there. No, I can't. Sorry guys, I will have to go to the kind of traffic light, because you see there are trams and the cars. I wanted to show you this beautiful view from the bridge. Or this view will be also beautiful. So thank you everyone, and even looking at this beautiful view, there are thoughts about Ukraine and about the fact when I will go home. But for some people, that was very kind of, it was an opportunity. For example, my friend, she's got her brother and father, mother in America, in the US, and it was not possible for her to join them. And because of the war, the US opened the kind of the simple way for the people to join their families, and she was so happy to leave to kind of reunite with them. So it's not always a tragedy. Sometimes families are even united and reunited because of this war. So I wanted to finish with something positive, and thank you so much for being with me today, and thank you for the amazing opportunity, because of you I can tell something about Ukraine to the world. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, Diana. Your picture is standing on the most precious place now, and it's always in my heart. Diana drew a picture of me when I was making this tour, the first tour on the 24th of February, and I have this precious feeling with me, and I think this picture will be like with me for all my life, up to the end of my life. Thank you so much, Diana, for coming and for supporting me. Thank you. Goodbye. Where are you from?
Germany.
Oh, Germany. How do you find Prague? Is it beautiful?
Prague is beautiful.
Beautiful. Perfect. What do you think about Ukraine? I have the tour, like I'm a refugee here in Prague from Ukraine.
It's missed. It's shit.
What?
It's not good.
It's not good,
It's not good.
You don't like Ukrainians?
Ukraine is good, but the war is not good.
Ah, the war, yes.
It's not good. It's not good.
So you support, do you know someone from Ukraine, like some refugees in Germany? No?
Only German. We'll find.
There are so many refugees in Germany because
Flüchtlinge. Refugees, Flüchtlinge.
in Germany there are many
Flüchtlinge
refugees.
good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. No problem.
Enjoy
Have a nice
beer.
day.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Goodbye. Thank you. So we have small interview with the German who is supporting Ukraine. Goodbye. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Slava Ukraini. Goodbye. Goodbye.